Okay guys, so in this video we're going to talk about what a string is. A string is a type of variable you use to hold like a sentence or a phrase or something like that. So far we've talked about chars, but chars kind of suck. You store one letter at a time. A string can store an arbitrary letter or an arbitrary number of letters, symbols, spaces, numbers, whatever you like inside. So a string contains a phrase or a sentence. And one thing is, it is a capital S, which is kind of different from ints and doubles and chars. So when you want to set up a string, you're going to do this. So string movie1 equals new string. So it's a little different. We're going to use the new. So after equals, we put new string. And then we're going to have parentheses. And then in those parentheses, we're going to have quotes. And in the quotes, you can just put whatever you want inside there. So for example, we'll do one of my favorite movies, Batman the Dark Knight. Okay, so that is a string. Another thing you could do, we can have numbers in them. So we can have, in other words, a string movie2 equals a new string, I don't know, like Star Wars Episode 5, The Empire Strikes Back. Okay, so you can have weird symbols and numbers and colons and spaces inside here. You can have it be as long as you want. So these are pretty cool. You can actually declare a variable like this. You can do an old movie to just be like Casablanca in quotes. We're not going to do this because it causes problems later on. So avoid this. Whenever you set up a string, always put new string. Put whatever you want inside quotes in parentheses. Okay, now you can print these out just like you would imagine. So if you try and just print out movie1, it just prints out your sentence, right? There's nothing special there. Okay, if you want to put two strings together, you use plus. And you can do this like inside println. So you could print out, say, movie1, and then add together the phrase, I don't know, right, let's put a space. We'll show what happens if you don't. So we could just add rises, and then you run that, and it looks like that. It just kind of adds on the end. This is called concatenating. This is called concatenating, to add on, to add, I guess, two strings together into one. It's a fancy word. All it just means to concatenate, right? You concatenate the Dark Knight with rises, and it concatenates to the Dark Knight Rises. Not special. Okay. You can also do it with strings, or sorry, with variables. So you can string like a weird combo movie to be movie1 plus movie2. And then if I tried to print out combo, we would find out, of course, that it's just going to jam these together into just one of the weirdest hybrid movies we've ever seen, right? Batman, The Dark Knight, Star Wars Episode 5. Okay, yeah, cool. Okay, so that's how you create strings and combine them. The next thing you might be curious, well, how do we have someone type in a string? So what if we want them to type in a string? Okay, well, somewhere in our program, we're going to be using scanner for this, so I'll just set that up at the top so I don't forget. You might notice also that scanner equals new scanner is pretty similar to the string whatever equals new string. Interesting. Okay, so what you're going to do here, you're going to type in their response as S. Now you might think it's going to be sc.nextString, but Java wants to confuse you, so they just made it sc.nextLine just to mess with you. And we'll just have print out like your favorite movie is, and then plus whatever they typed in. Okay. So that's how you get the user to type in a string instead of an int or double. You know, we use nextInt for int, nextDouble for doubles, nextLine for strings. So type in a string, I don't know, Borat's like the funniest movie I've ever seen. So there you go. So it'll type that, it'll save it as a string variable and use that like usual. Okay, now strings are pretty powerful. They have a lot of other things they can do. So I'm going to draw your attention again to that quick reference guide. Oopsie. So let's look at the quick reference guide here. And if you look on strings, one of the things it does, they talked about here, this is what's called creating your string. We'll talk more about that later. The first one on here is length. So I want to talk about length. It just tells you how many characters are in the string. So if I want to do, for example, like how long your string is, system.out.println. If I want to find like the length of a string, I do whatever the variable is dot length. So that's what the quick reference guide said. it just has this length. It gives you the length of the string as an int. So I could just do response dot length like that. Okay, and this is how many letters are in that. Okay, so I'll do something simple and just type in, say, Borat again, because that's like the funniest movie I've ever seen. That has 4 letters, and it tells me that the length is 5. I could say this is a variable too, so I could do like int movie1 length is equal to movie1 dot length. And just in general, when you're using one of these functions on a string, you write the name of the variable dot and then whatever the function is. So to call these are called methods, or a function of the string. Call method / function on a string. You do the name of the variable dot the method. And then there are some parentheses. And sometimes we'll see that things go in parentheses. Okay. So let's go ahead and comment this out so I don't need to keep typing something in every time. Let's go back to the quick reference guide and see what's next. The next thing it talks about is substring. Well, the way substring works is it takes part of the string. So what if you just want part of the string? So let's create a new string. So let's say our string new movie equals, well, that's funny, movies don't come out these days, but say we have Tenet. Okay, which hypothetically should come out this year. If you want part of the string, you use what's called dot substring. And you have some like start location to some end location. So what it says in the quick reference guide is you give it 2 integers, here, comma, the other one. And it gives you the part that starts it from and ends at that spot -1. But there's something a little weird about this. So let's say I just want 3 letters from this. So I'm just going to print out new movie dot substring, and I want the ones from 1 to 3. Okay, now you might think it's going to be 10, but you would of course be horribly wrong. There is a reason for this, which we'll talk about soon. But one thing you're going to see is when you run this, Java numbers things differently. It just gives you n. So here's the basic deal. Java starts counting at 0. All programming languages do. So when you're talking about like trying to number the spaces in here, the numbering is always going to start at 0. Numbering of locations starts at 0. So if we kind of, let's just space it out a little bit so we can match this out. So that t is spot 0, the next e is 1, then 2, then 3, then 4. So even though the string has a length of 5, we saw that above, calling dot length gives you 5, the spots are actually numbered 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. If you tried to access what was in spot 5, it's actually out of bounds. Okay, now the next thing is, well, so it starts at the E, but it didn't actually go through spot 3. It just did spots 1 and 2 and then stopped. Again, we see that on our quick reference guide, right? If you start at from and then end at 2 minus 1, it doesn't actually include the last character. So what this does is this starts at location 1 and ends at 3, but doesn't get to 3. Okay, so it starts at 0, 1, starts at the E, and then spot 3 is the next E, but it ends before that. If you want the 10, let's think about how to do that. So you can pause the video right now to think about how you get the 10. Okay, now you probably didn't pause the video, so I'll just keep going. So if you want the substring to get the 10, you're going to need to start at spot 0. So we're going to take the substring starting at spot 0, and let's see, I want to do 0, 1, 2. Yeah, I don't want spot 3, so I'm just going to stop at 3. Okay, so that'll be good. What if you just want 1 letter at a time? So say we want that lowercase t. So if you just want 1 letter at a time, okay, well, so let's see. We want to start at spot 4, but we want to end before spot 8. Okay, or before spot 5, sorry. Start at spot 4, but end before spot 5. So I would do that. I'd say like, I'm going to say this is a variable too, because you could do this too. We'll do new movie dot substring from 4 to 5. And that would just do 1 letter at a time. So if I go ahead and print that out, I just print out last letter, and hopefully that'll give you the last letter, which in this case should just be the lowercase t. If you just wanted like the second letter, starting in location 1, you just do substring 1, 2. So we just print out system.out.println. We do new movie.substring 1, 2. So starting at 1, not getting to 2, that'll give me the second letter there, that E. Now you might be asking, what if you wanted a letter that was out of bounds? Like, is the program going to let you do that? I don't know. Let's find out. So what if you try a location that doesn't work? So what if you tried to do like this exact same thing and take the substring for, I don't know, like 6 to 7, right? The numbers are only 0 through 4, so that should give me an error. And what you'll see is this actually compiles. Java sees this is like legal code, but when you try and run it, it'll actually crash the program. It gives you this error right here and says that string index out of bounds is 7. You begin at spot 6, you end at spot 7, but the length of the string is only 5. So that's telling you kind of what the error is. So this crashes when you run. Okay. The only other thing I want to tell you about Substring is there's another version of Substring that you just give it one letter and automatically goes from that letter to the end of the string. So if you just want everything from one space on, you just do substring 4 or substring 4 to include everything from 4 to the end. So system.out.println, that'd be new movie.substring 4. Okay, actually, I'm going to do another string just so we can see kind of what's going on. So let's pick another movie that I like. America. Oh, jeez, I don't want to save this. Okay, so string fave equals to string. This used to be one of my favorite movies, probably still is. American History X. So again, starting at 0 goes 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I want to start with let's start with I, right? 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So I want everything from 4 to the end. So if I do the substring from 4 to the end, so 1 parentheses for the substring number, and then 1 parentheses for the print line, this should give me like the I can't history X and just gives me everything else. Okay. Oh yeah, I didn't comment that out because I'm stupid. Excellent, good. So when we run this code now, it gives me everything from the I onto the end. Oh right, again, I used the wrong thing because I'm stupid, so let's fix that. And now hopefully it'll just give me everything from I to the end. Okay, cool. So that's substring some of the basic functionality. I'll do some more advancement in the next video. Thanks for watching.